The National Association of Women Business Owners fosters women entrepreneurs in every type of business through networking, resources, education, and public awareness. And every month, the Northern New Mexico chapter of NAWBO meets to empower women to improve their leadership skills by applying their unique talents and interests. And Education and Leadership Chair DJ Hex and this month's event speaker Katie Snapp join us this morning. Hi, girls.
Hi.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Well, we talked a little bit last week about empowering women and NAWBO, and we talked about your book as well, and we're really excited to have you here. And so let's begin by talking about how NAWBO basically advances women as leaders.
Yes, NAWBO is a strong organization, not only locally, but nationally. We love to have women that are empowering for leaders. We want to help the younger generation with mentor programs and match everyone and come. And we pick Katie Snapp for one of our speakers for the March 21st event coming up from 11 to 1 at the Embassy Suites.
Yes, and we'll give more information throughout the segment so people can make sure to write it down. But let's talk a little bit about why you decided to choose Miss Katie as your speaker.
Well, Katie is a great speaker. I've heard her personally, and she's a dear friend. What I love about Katie is she's a strong woman leader, and she helps teach leadership to women, and she's not only a great leader and a great consultant, but she speaks platform both nationally and globally.
That's amazing. And you know, it's one thing to be able to teach and to speak. It's another thing to be able to implement the things that you talk about and actually apply them to your own lives, and you know, be a proponent of your own choices that you say and that you speak to the world, and that's obviously what you're doing. And so I want to talk first with you, DJ, about the title of your book, because it's called Full Brain Marketing. I love that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you. Well, it's interesting because to run your business in today's economy, you have to be a left brain and a right brain thinker. So it'd be like running your business with your hand tied behind your back.
Good point. Really good point. So, yeah, I mean, because we do, you know, we say we are either right brain or left brain, but to be able to use it all and incorporate all the things we know into one thought process would be kind of amazing, but not always easy.
No.
It's not always easy. And you've included in your book actually a discussion about different things that are going on in leadership. And in fact, I want to mention that you also decided to write about leadership in the marketing book because you wanted to kind of empower women just in that idea alone. So talk a little bit about that for us.
You know, every marketer needs to be a good leader. Do you follow? Or do people follow you by example, or do they follow you because they're afraid of you? You want to be an effective leader with due diligence.
Yes.
And that's a great way to start with marketing.
Yeah. That's a great way, yeah. And you also mentioned in the book, great leaders not only inspire, but they also motivate. And that's a big deal too. So talk a little bit about that for our viewers. What do you mean by it?
Well, I feel women are great, effective leaders because we're so used to tying in with our family, with our businesses, and we have to do it all. We're like that duck on the water. We always are poised, and we know how to handle stress effectively. And when you're leading with the due diligence and effective leadership, you want to make sure that your people follow you by example, just like when we raise our children.
Absolutely, great point. And okay, now there are 5 stages, right, of business, and so how does your marketing book basically apply all of these different stages?
It's an interesting platform because, you know, phase 1, that's where you start up. You have the idea as an entrepreneur and you open up your business.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of things you have to do in the beginning. That's where you do a competitive analysis. You have a needs analysis. You target segment. Who are you going to market your new product or service to?
Okay.
Then you have phase 2. That's where you have startup or fast growth. You're going to want a different marketing strategy and have more in depth about your 4 Ps in marketing, or your 3 additional Ps, which are your products, your process, and your people. Then you have stage 3. That's where you're going on in business and you're trying to decide as an owner, do you stay in the business or do you build it for an exit strategy?
Right.
Then you have stage 4. This is the stage where it's more adolescence, things are going well, you're having a good growth stage. Okay. But stage 5, maturity, sometimes when we get there, the book will tell you may have to go back to stage 2 on your marketing.
Interesting. And you also kind of deal with collaborative marketing, and that's something that's an interesting thing. How do women leaders deal with collaborative marketing?
You know, I think women are very good at collaborative anyways. Even in history, we're so good about talking to each other, almost our own little mastermind groups. So when I look at collaborative marketing, it may be, you may be in my same industry.
Okay.
We may compete 10%, but it's okay, because what if I need help in doing something? I will come to you and we can partner on something. Or I talk about where you put your top 10 surrounded strong females around you in different industries. How do you refer business to each other and collaboratively grow your business?
And isn't it amazing how we have the capability of collaborating while still being competitive with each other? I think that's so interesting. And you obviously need a strategic plan to make anything really work in business. And clearly your book, Skirt Strategies, deals with those strategies. So what made you decide to write the book? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the book is a conglomeration of tips, ideas, reminders for women that want to focus more on being a natural woman leader, pulling from their natural skills that we have as women, which I might say we're challenged with often, because when we're in an environment that might be male dominated, it's sometimes not the way we do things around here, so we bury them.
So true. And I want to mention before we do anything else is that you're actually going to do a book signing.
Yes, we have.
Tell us about
another thing women love, wine and sign. It's a wine and sign.
I love it.
Tonight at Scalo. They are Steve Paternoster at Scalo is nice enough to host us.
Fabulous.
It's at 4:30. You can drop right in, and it's also a benefit. $5 of the proceeds for the $20 will go to Youth Matters, which is an empowerment program for girls. We're really glad to be supporting.
And maybe people will come in because they'll be celebrating a NAWBO win. That could be happening, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a nice
That'd be a perfect fit.
And I want to talk. We're talking obviously leadership specific to women. Why is it so different, you think, for women versus men?
Perfect segue from Full Brain, because there is a little bit of nurture. There's a lot of nurture, people would argue, but there's also nature that we know. Physiologically, and I'm speaking in what I call generalizations. Generalizations on gender. Women have different brain blood flow than men do. Okay, we know that that's different. Well, that dictates all sorts of different things, different decision making, different collaborating, different way we look at things,
negotiating.
Yes, and we use more of our brain at any certain time than a man might. So you see a man focus and drill in, where you see a woman
multitask
with a lot of balls in the air. And they're really comfortable doing it.
Isn't it amazing though? You know, when you talk, even when you talk on the phone to a man and he's trying to do something else, you know he's not paying attention to you. We can watch TV, be doing something on the computer, and totally be engaged in our conversation. It's amazing. And so we do a lot of different things differently. I mean, obviously. What are some other examples of things that women do differently in leadership and in business?
Collaboration in decision making is a great example, because it's one of those areas where men tend to look at the way we do it and they interpret it wrong. Women are great at pulling in input, right? We like to have a contributive type of decision making, where a man just drills right down and makes the decision. They're very decisive. Well, it's smart to do the collaborative because you get better buy-in, but it takes a little bit longer. A man might look at that and say, why is she waffling? Why is she just making a decision? So it can send the wrong message if a man doesn't quite understand where we're coming from.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a lot of different implications that we find, though, from these differences in our leadership skills. And are there any specific implications that are you know, more prevalent than others?
I think the biggest implication is that, bottom line, we know through research, this is actually becoming more of a national trend in the last couple of years. Companies like Catalyst and McKinsey and Company are doing research that shows that when women are more prevalent in leadership positions in businesses, it's a more stable business financially.
How interesting. And that's a statistically proven fact?
It is.
We
can support it.
Now, before we go, you're actually going to have a special luncheon coming up. I want to share that with our viewers as well. Tell us about it.
Yes, it's on March 21st at the Embassy Suites from 11 to 1. Please come see Katie Snapp in her leadership strategies, skirt strategies. She's a great speaker. You're going to learn so much as a woman leader and how to really compel yourself and take the next step on leadership.
I would love to go to that. That sounds fantastic. And how can everybody get the books?
skirtstrategies.com or amazon.com. Make sure you look for the one that looks like this, because there's a first edition that's a little bit different.
And your book?
fullbrainmarketing.com or amazon.com.
Fabulous. Girls, thank you so much for being with us. Great information. And as I always say, I feel empowered after these kind of conversations. Thank you so much for that. Coming up next, the Bears will give you a solution for your sun-damaged skin. Don't go away. Us women want to look good, don't we?